So in kind of a big surprise, the funniest person in the world might be Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Let's talk about it in today's video. Hi, I'm Mike Greiner. I'm a lifelong Democratic activist who's concerned about the direction our country is taking. I'm also a lawyer and an academic, and I'm here to help you stand up to the BS of the MAGA crowd. So Sergei Lavrov has been nothing more than Putin's puppet for years, and now he has become nothing more than a global laughingstock as a result of it. Don't believe me? Check out this video over here.
You know, the war which we are trying to stop and which...
Number one, the war which we are trying to stop, he says. So apparently the Russians are trying to stop the war where they're invading Ukraine? Let's keep watching.
was launched against us.
And it was launched against Russia by the Ukrainians. Let's see how the crowd reacts.
Using the Ukrainian people. Of course, it influenced the policy of Russia.
Ah, yes, that didn't go over so well for Sergei Lavrov. And in case you thought that he was in front of a hostile audience, that was at the G20 meeting in India. And of course, as we know, India has basically been a supporter of Russia in this war. At best, they've remained neutral, but they've been big purchasers of oil. In fact, they've increased their consumption of Russian oil more than any other country in the world since this invasion was launched. So if there's anybody the Russians owe for helping keep them in this war, it's the Indians. And it was at a meeting hosted by them there, including many other of the Russian invaders' supporters, that laughter broke out. Because it was just so absurd. I mean, you have to remember, this is the same meeting where the participants couldn't agree on a joint statement condemning the war. So this was not a hostile audience, and you can see how they reacted. I have to say, I had a similar reaction when I read these comments by Sergei Lavrov. Last December, Lavrov issued an ultimatum in which he said that Ukraine needed to agree to Russia's demands, that Ukraine demilitarize and denazify. And by the way, just a reminder, the Ukrainian president who's been leading the resistance is Jewish. So much for Nazis being in control. But here's his actual statement. Let me read it to you. Our proposals for the demilitarization and denazification of the territories controlled by the regime. Again, the regime headed by a Jewish man. But that's neither here nor there. The elimination of threats to Russia's security emanating from there, including our new lands, are well known to the enemy. But then this is where it gets funny. The point is simple. Fulfill them for your own good. Otherwise, the issue will be decided by the Russian army. So in other words, unless they agree to the demands that Lavrov is putting forth, then the Russian army will really do something bad to them. Well, I hate to be a cynic about this, but it seems to me that the Russian army is doing just about everything they can to Ukraine right now. The idea that the Russians have any ability at this point to threaten anybody, least of all Ukraine, is laughable. And that's what we saw at the G20 meeting, that literally anywhere Putin and his lackeys aren't surrounded by more lackeys or just Russians who literally have no access to any free information, they're confronted by just how absurd the logic is that's being applied by them. So for those of you who aren't convinced yet that Russia has literally become a global laughingstock, now you know the truth. Well, if you want to see more craziness coming from the Russians, check out this video over here that I made a little while ago. It's just amazing that people are able to say such lies with a straight face. I'll see you then. In the meantime, let's hope for continued progress. Thank you.